The Worldwide Forgiveness Alliance presents the 17th Annual International Forgiveness Day Awards celebration in Angelical Hall at Dominican University in San Rafael, California. This was presented on Sunday, August 4th, 2013, featuring this year's Heroes of Forgiveness, Misty Wallace and Keith Blackburn, and the 2013 Champion of Forgiveness, Jane Jennings, and also honoring the Worldwide Forgiveness Alliance founder and executive director, Robert W. Plath, with a special Lifetime Champion of Forgiveness award. Also with special appearances by Marianne Williamson, Mars Venus author John Gray, Stanford forgiveness expert Dr. Fred Luskin, Drs. Jerry Jampolsky and Diane Cirincione, and music producer-musician Narada Michael Walden and his band, and the East Bay Church of Religious Science International Mass Choir, plus much, much more.
Welcome. This is the 17th Annual International Forgiveness Day Awards Ceremony. And we're glad to see you here. You know, you look marvelous. You look so good out there, I could forgive you anything. Right. As is our tradition, we start off every event in the Worldwide Forgiveness Alliance with a prayer, and so I'd like to open with a prayer. There is only one mind, and that mind is my mind now. There is only one life, and that life is my life now. And as I am part of that one life, so are all these who are here with me now. We are all one. We are each individualized expression of the one life, the one mind, the one consciousness, universal consciousness. God is all that is. And we have come here tonight to honor the joy of forgiveness, the ultimate expression of love. 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 Love, love. And I draw around this building a circle of love and protection, a charmed circle of light. And this light emanates from each and every one of us. The light of love emanates from each and every one of us. And the light of love descends down from the ceiling above us. And the light of love rises up from the floor beneath us. And the light of love radiates out from the walls around us. Love, the light of love protects us. The light of love heals us. The light of love warms us. The light of love surrounds us. The light of love is over us, under us, around us, and through us. Love is us, and we are love. We are love, and there is nothing else. Thank you, Mother, Father, God. Thank you. Thank you for bringing us forgiveness. Thank you for bringing us joy. Thank you for bringing us love. Thank you for bringing us peace. Thank you for bringing us life. We know that this is all for us. We know this is true. And we claim it right here, right now, as above and those below, as within and so without. And so it is. Amen. And so we begin again. I'd like to now introduce the man who started it all, and his will and energy has pushed it forward for 17 years. He started this out as a kid, you know. He was only 70 when he began this. And now, here at 87 years old and still pushing, our leader, Bob Plath.
Thank you so very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We make a stab at talking about what's going on with the Alliance, and so much has been happening because this year I suffered a wound there, a broken femur bone, which has been very difficult to deal with, but which has been, well, I think things have been going better. We grouped under the leadership of producer Jacinta Martin, and she's been doing magnificently. And yesterday we had a fantastic Jacinta Martin. Wow. And later on in the show, we have John. Sorry, I'm just having a blank moment here. John Gray, who's a wonderful man, and Bonnie Gray, who's his wife. They are here, and also we have Fred Luskin and we also Gerald Jampolsky and Diane Jampolsky. So we are happy, and then we have heroes of forgiveness that are interspersed throughout the audience. But everybody is really a hero that has been in the job of living for all these years. We are right at this moment continuing to bring forth programs. We have a speakers bureau and an education committee headed by Krista Reynolds, and we're with respect to the Forgiveness Alliance. We are in Washington now with the Congressman John Lewis, who received a Hero of Forgiveness Award 4 years ago, is helping us there he will bring a legislation which we developed to honor Forgiveness Day across the world on the first Sunday of each August. John will bring that with the idea that when he brings it from the congressional side, that shortly thereafter, Senator Boxer will bring the legislation from the Senate side. And we're also then working towards the idea of Forgiveness Day being honored in the United Nations, which is something that we have to still put together the parts and bits that are necessary to make it happen. We have had it up there, but we need a country that would be peaceful and not have enemies that would be willing to bring it forth. Something, you know, like one of the states in the Arab League, I forget which one right now, is very neutral and very warm to us and to the world. Also, much good is happening. We want to continue our programs with veterans for handling the problem of post-traumatic stress syndrome, which Frederick Luskin has been so excellent at doing in 2 workshops that we put on for the soldiers. We also want to work with the abused women, which we have done for 4 years up to this year. We're fighting drug and alcohol abuse, and so what I really want to see, though, is that we move towards legislation where we actually bring something before the Senate and the House where they have so many impasses, and forgiveness is so necessary and so needed that it's high time to throw it in the pressure cooker and let it work its way, its magic, because I think it will work its magic with the leadership of those Congresses, of the Senate and the House. We're also consulting with Dr. Frederick Luskin to create a forgiveness referral service with potential to become a national resource, educational resource. And we're also speaking with master speaking consultant Lee Glickstein to develop a speakers bureau for schools and corporations. Forgiveness Day, as I said, is growing because we have, there's Dallas, St. Louis, Honolulu, And Oliver Clerk, an ally of us, has been doing it all throughout Europe. And also we have a couple of gentlemen in Nigeria that are bringing forgiveness and Forgiveness Day to the people of Nigeria and to the states around Nigeria. They're amazing men. These people have got such credible courage, and what they're doing is so right that they form partnerships and make a world of difference. So what we need from the Forgiveness Alliance, and I want to thank you for being here because you're so critical to the continuation of this message and the power of people like you. Never underestimate your power. Never give your power away, but really know that you make a real difference. And when you step into this and help carry it forth, you are doing something that is doing incredible amount to bring peace to the world. I also want to say, too, that Joseph Quinn, a friend of mine who helped me walk out here, is we were putting together in that bill for Forgiveness Day a segment which will deal with the day being a day of ceasefire across the world, which I think, and Jack Cornfield from this Spirit Rock, I just talked to Jack recently when I put out flyers about this event. Jack wants to help us bring Forgiveness Day to all the Buddhist countries of the world, which would be huge because they spread out and they're so vast, and forgiveness is so important in those realms where there's so much antagonism and bloodshed. We don't need to do that. We don't need to have wars. It's all a matter of talking it out and making it work. So what we were trying to do is get this idea of forgiveness deeply embedded into the human psyche so that we continue to bring forth peace and the love of peace around the world. And love, and in every relationship, of course, forgiveness is so important. And self-forgiveness, when we watched Marianne Williamson like yesterday, she was magnificent in dealing with the different elements of forgiveness. Here's to Marianne. Woo! Powerhouse. So, and these people really, she's also working with the idea of bringing a speaker's office of peace into the Congress. She's been trying to do that for quite a long time, but she's everywhere where good women are needed and good men to make the country more livable and more likable. There's also an ally of ours in Wisconsin who is Dr. Robert Enright, who is brought there into the Wisconsin in about 55 schools. He's brought forgiveness programs which have worked miracles, have stopped the idea of the curtain of fear that the kids go through, edge of fear and antagonism and angry, so that they act out once in a while, causing havoc because of the hatred that they could not express in the schools. So I will call it short. I just ask you, I implore that every one of you right now look into your own heart and soul and look towards helping out with the idea of forgiveness and being imbued with it yourself, because you are so powerful. And if you do that every day, you can't help it, as Marianne said, you begin to open up. Your whole life becomes transformed. So thank you for helping me to get through this very difficult period. And I just wish you Godspeed and that the Holy Spirit work with us, the higher power, because we deserve it. It's just natural. And thank you for your kindness. I can't help but appreciate. You all come up and it's just like I'm facing a lot of fear with what I'm going through. But everybody's been so good. It's incredible, the amount of love. So thank you very much. Thank you. Woo! 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 Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Bob. So that's why we are still going after 17 years. With a spirit like that, it's indomitable. Well, we're here to grant awards to the heroes and champions of forgiveness. And so I'd like to start off by honoring a couple of heroes of forgiveness, Misty Wallace and Keith Blackburn, who have a phenomenal story, which I'm going to allow them to tell it, but first of all, let's take a look at a quick video.
At 5:30, an amazing story of forgiveness. A woman shot and left for dead now calls the man who nearly killed her a friend.
Our TV6 reporter Tanya Spencer has the story of their partnership to help others learn to forgive.
It happened right here 20 years ago. Misty Wallace was using a payphone that used to be right here when Keith Blackburn walked up and shot her in the face, point blank.
As soon as I had the phone, I was laying on the ground. I didn't know what hit me. The bullet went down through my esophagus, severed my carotid artery, and bounced up and lodged in between my muscle, and my top two vertebrae were shattered.
She was a high school senior with a full-ride scholarship. He was a dropout looking to steal a car and didn't want any witnesses.
In my mind, it was just a split-second decision to, I pulled a gun and pulled the trigger.
Misty's car, keys still in the ignition, wouldn't even start. Blackburn got away with nothing but her purse and left her for dead.
When I was leaving the scene, I heard her say, "Help me." I walked away. I live with that every day.
Keith spent 9 years in prison. Misty miraculously recovered and went on with her life, carrying anger and yearning for one answer.
God, he's going to tell me why. He is going to tell me why. So I sent him a Facebook message. I needed him to look me in the face and mean that he was sorry for what he did to me.
2 years after making contact, Misty knows forgiveness is a choice she had to make for her own health.
20 years ago, I did what she didn't deserve. 2 years ago, she gave me what I know I did not deserve. I didn't deserve to be forgiven on this level.
Misty and Keith now tell their story together as part of the Bridges to Life program, speaking to prisoners about forgiveness and about the lifetime impact of their crimes. While the pain is still piercing for both, the victim and her shooter, now a prison chaplain, call themselves friends.
She's choosing not only to forgive me, but to walk alongside of me and tell this story to others that are struggling with pain and bitterness and anger.
Misty and Keith hope to eventually tell their story of what happened here at every correctional facility in Indiana. Reporting on the southwest side, Tanya Spencer, RTV6.
Quite a story. And to expand the Bridges to Life program, they need more victims willing to volunteer to tell their stories at prisons. Misty and Keith's story will be one of 4 featured on The Katie Show coming up Monday at 3 p.m. right here.
As we preach over and over again, forgiveness is simple, but it sure ain't easy. It takes a lot of courage. Bob has something to say.
Just really fast. I could tell you all about Christy and, Misty and Keith's story. I'd rather that you hear it from them. It's that dramatic and that beautifully, amazingly done. So here's Here they are, and we will let them tell their story in their own way, because they do that. They do that in penitentiaries and rehab places and with juvenile halls and so on to stop violence. So they're so powerful, I would like to let them tell their own story. Here they are, Misty Wallace and Keith Blackthorne. You're great.
I love you.
Thank you. Are you all set?
Good evening, everyone. My name's Misty Wallace. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. 3 years ago, my life changed dramatically. Of course, 18 years ago, my life changed dramatically, but I carried a lot of years of anger, hate, and bitterness, and even the fact of the feeling of I wish he was dead. I got to a point in my life to where I felt worthless. I felt like things were happening to me for that reason. For many years, 17 years to be exact, I decided one day that I was looking for the why reason. The why reason. The state of Indiana denied me that reasoning to be available to me, the victim. For several years, I was denied. I was denied. I was denied. I was a very determined person at the time, so I took it upon myself to, actually one day I was sitting at my desk at work. I probably shouldn't have been doing that, but I Googled his name, and the first thing that came up was a picture of him with our governor of Indiana, Miss America, and people from the Department of Corrections. Still at this point, I did not know why. I was angry. I was so mad, so mad. I felt like as a victim I deserved that right to be heard, to hear what exactly you did to me, the trauma, the victims, my family, my friends. I eventually was able to find him on Facebook. And I thought, wow, here's my chance. A chance that no one's given me the last 17 years. I sat for a while and I thought about it. I didn't know what to write. I started very simple, as in my name, and I know you know who I am, and I need to talk. A few hours later, my phone beeps. It's a message from him with a phone number, opening the door for me to be able to give him what he never seen or felt. My journey then began. Rebuilding a trust was probably the hardest thing I had to do at the beginning. But once I heard him, actually, I was looking for why for so many years. And honestly, I was looking for him to tell me he was sorry to my face. I got that. And believe it or not, I got it in a state penitentiary talking to other felons. It hit me that everything was real. So much was lifted off of my shoulders that day. I still have a lot. This was a choice I had to make. This isn't a choice that I could let anyone else make. So at this point, I'm going to turn this over to my friend, Chaplain Keith Blackburn with the Indiana Department of Corrections.
Forgiveness transforms us
in ways unimaginable. I began my transformation with forgiveness while inside a penitentiary, serving time for the crime that you saw told about on the video. 18 years old, I shot an innocent teenager in the head for nothing more than a car. Terrible. Would there ever be an opportunity to say I'm sorry? How do you apologize and say I'm sorry for shooting someone in the head and leaving them in a puddle of their own blood to die? But I walked on my journey of forgiveness. I got in touch with God. I began to change from the inside out. When I got out of prison in 2001, I stayed the course of walking in this newfound life that I'd found, wondering, hoping, praying for the day I could say, I'm sorry. But because of rules and regulations, we wasn't allowed to communicate. There was no restorative process or restorative justice program in our state. But I got a message that she said 3 years ago on Facebook that totally transformed my life. I trembled as I read the words, I have forgiven you, but I'm having trouble forgetting. When I called her, she gave me not only the gift of forgiveness, but she gave me a front row seat into what my bullet had done, what my hand had done, the harm that I inflicted. And as an offender, as a perpetrator of such a terrible crime, I got to look into the face of the one I hurt so badly, into the face that I put a bullet in. I got to look in that face, and I saw the gift of forgiveness. For me, my forgiveness day was 3 years ago. And every day, I get to look into the face of forgiveness and know that it took a strong woman, it took a hero, it took a faith that far surpassed anything humans can do, far surpassed humanity. There are many that say, I would never be able to do this, but Misty has chosen to take the higher path and to offer me forgiveness, to say, I forgive you. And that forgiveness has totally transformed my life. I'm walking. I get the opportunity every day to walk in forgiveness. I appreciate it'll come 2,000 miles and be able to share our story with you is just phenomenal, to be able to encourage you to forgive. That gift is greater than any gift. That I love the analogy that forgiveness is love. That is a love that far surpasses any of our understanding, and I'm thankful. Thank you for hearing our story. God bless.
Thank you to Missy and Missy and Keith, we really appreciate your coming and sharing your story. You know, it's always amazing to us what the human spirit can do in terms of overcoming incredible pain and loss. Thank you. During his talk, Keith used the words restorative justice, which is a fairly new word to me. It's something that I've recently become involved in, and we're working with the mayor of San Francisco in terms of trying to bring it to Bayview Hunters Point, where I have my nonprofit, because there's so much violence and pain out there. But there's also such terrible incarceration rates that we're trying to find another way to bring the victim and the perpetrators together and get some accountability and forgiveness involved in the process. So thank you, Keith, for a great entry there. It's really a marvelous thing, this thing, restorative justice. And it's something that we hope spreads. You know, heroes of forgiveness are those who overcome tremendous, tremendous pain to release, because that's what forgiveness is releasing the anger, releasing the traumatic pain and hurt in order to move forward with one's life. Then on the other hand, there are those who are known as champions, those who work to bring forgiveness to the world, to teach it, to spread the word. And we also honor those who are champions. And I'd like to introduce to you Will Chang, who's been with us and with our organization since 1999. He specializes in transformational coaching, which means when you're ready to jump over the abyss, you're going to need somebody to hold your hand. And that's what Will does. Here's Will Chang.
Thank you. Yes, everyday forgiveness is something that we all do, and our champion of forgiveness has been doing that daily for many, many years. As a chaplain, she has visited with the sick and the infirm and those suffering from many different burdens that we experience in our daily life, and at times quite extraordinary circumstances. We have a little video to show, so if we can do that.
I don't want people to suffer was the overriding thought Jane Jennings developed as a young child confined to a hospital for years. This became her guiding principle in life as she's devoted herself to helping people through the most difficult times of their lives. She's worked with parents whose child was murdered, children who have been held captive and abused, people with AIDS, women who have been violated and abused, women who have had abortions, men and women with significant weight issues, people who are financially devastated, and those suffering life-threatening illnesses. Everyone wants to be forgiven for something that has happened in their life. We're all human, and we all make mistakes. Learning to forgive oneself is the most important thing to live freely from the pain of the past. Everyday forgiveness keeps the path clear. In her over 40 years of service as a chaplain in Bay Area hospitals, tending to the terminally ill, Jane has found that forgiveness is the healing grace that many people facing their final days welcome the most. Under the auspices of her nonprofit organization, Global Grace, Jane has counseled and taught thousands of people over the past 30 years in workshops, classes, and individually to learn to forgive themselves and to move beyond their story. She has taught forgiveness classes throughout the Bay Area, including Marin Services for Women and the Marin Health and Wellness Center in San Rafael for many years. This lifetime of being present with people who are dealing with the most crushing dilemma of their life is the work of a true champion of forgiveness, for which we honor Jane today.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jane Jennings.
Thank you. I am so honored to be here tonight and happy to be with all of you. All of you. When I accept this honor, it is not for me, but it's for all the countless practitioners and chaplains that spend their life answering the call. And I also want to thank all of our teachers. My first teachers when I became a chaplain in 1967 at Santa Clara, to the nuns here at Dominican, and to my wonderful teachers when I became a practitioner at Golden Gate Center. The thanks really goes to all of these nameless people, faceless people who have gone before us and are still doing this work today as they have through the ages. I want to talk a little bit about forgiveness. Forgiveness means giving for. The definition in the dictionary says, to give is to give freely and fully, without thought of compensation. What a wonderful description. I just love that. And I think that we all want to do this, and sometimes it's a little bit hard. So what I think that we're going to be speaking primarily about tonight is everyday forgiveness. Those times in our life, those pesky details that we need to forgive. They're in all of our lives. If we can make the practice of everyday forgiveness by taking just 1, 2, or 3 minutes a day, 2 or 3 times a day, we'll start to forgive when we don't even know that's what's happening. It goes into our consciousness. It doesn't have to be any big deal. We can just sit quietly if we can and just clear our mind from the pesky details of life, and then perhaps kind of go on to a neutral zone. And then I think it's helpful for me when I sort of rise above wherever I am at the time and look down. When we look down from above, all the issues, those burning concerns, the hurts and pains and sufferings that seem insurmountable, don't look that big. So I like to go up a little higher and look down. And when we look down, they always do not look as pressing. And then I bring into my mind's eye, the face of the person or the incident or the experience that I have such discordant thoughts and feelings with. And I hold that thought for just a moment. And as we do it more, we can hold it for a longer moment, but at first for just a moment. And then I bless them. And then I say, I freely and fully forgive you. I release you and let you go. You are free and I am free and all is well. I do this all the time. Now, I don't always have times to sit down and do it, because when I started doing this, I was about 30 and I had 4 little children. I might add 4 wild little children, and time was really at a minimum for me. But I learned to do it when I was washing the dishes, when I was driving my car, when I was folding laundry. And as I moved into the business world, I learned to do it when I was on hold on the telephone or riding in an elevator. But I started doing it all the time. Not quite like an OCD person, but I really wanted to get it down. So I did it all the time because I kind of had things to forgive. But mostly the things I had to forgive were about myself. And really, when we look at it, we all want to forgive ourselves. And when we think about it, they're really not that bad, because there is an energy in the ever-presence, all-givingness of God that goes forth instantly whenever we do something, say something, react to something in thought, word, deed, action, or reaction, and then we go, oh, what did I do that for? Oh, I feel horrible. And we get into this blah, blah, blah. We can stop, and we know that in that holy instant, the all-giving, ever-loving God, through, in, by, and as us, that magnificent I am present that beats our heart, that has already forgiven us, and it is gone. It is not on some ticker tape on the bottom of CNN. It is not on some concrete tablet where people can review it. It is instantly wiped out in the world of the divine love of God in each one of us. However, we sometimes don't know that, so we think about it, and we embody it. And if it's a betrayal that we have from someone we love, and most of the time when we're betrayed, it is someone that we have had a relationship. It could be our partner, our child, somebody at work, a friend, and we are so hurt. We did all the work, and they took our work, and then did it in a terrible way, and they got the credit. They got the promotion, and that hurts us. And so we think about it. That's just one fairly generic example. But we think about it. And then when we think about it, we do what anyone would do naturally. We call our best friend and we discuss it, and discuss it, and discuss it. And this, when they suddenly can't take our call, I have no idea why, we'll talk it with someone else, our second tier of friends. And we'll talk to them, and then they're busy too. And then we'll just bring it up any chance we get, like at the checkout stand, in the dry cleaner, in the dog park, any place someone will listen to us. But you notice they're all starting to leave. What happens is we are all energy fields, magnetic energy fields, and that's great. And when I learned that the magnetic energy field of creativity comes through our feelings, I remember I thought, oh, yikes. Oh, yikes, I had no idea. It is our feeling that starts the process of creation. Now, when we're in the state of needing forgiveness or wanting to talk about forgiveness, and now maybe we don't have that many people to talk to about it because they've all heard it and heard it and heard it, we have to start realizing this. But we have feelings. These feelings in our heart, we've been betrayed. It hurts us. And so we go out and we think about it and we review it and we rehearse it. And then we write it down. And we know that there is power in the spoken word because in the beginning, in Genesis, God created light, said there was light, and there was light. We know there's power in our words. They go out into the universe, they have no place to go. So we then write it, because we want to not only say it, but we're going to write it, we're going to embody it, and we're going to get through this. And what we're doing is we are in the state of feeling where we are creating more of it. And what this does is dreadful. It affects our whole life. It affects every cell in our body. It affects our thoughts. It affects how we look. It affects how we think. And then we're really in kind of trouble in River City. But when we realize this, we can stop this. It's so sad when you see people who've lived their life unable to forgive. 25 years ago, I started working with a group in Marin, I hate that term, battered women, but women of domestic violence. And these were beautiful and wonderful women. And there was this one woman who was most striking. She was beautiful. She looked like Grace Kelly. She was smart. She was just vital, charming. And her husband had left her, as she said, and run off with some vulgar tart, taking the business with him and leaving her very little. Somehow she had put it in his name for whatever reason, and he had it and she didn't. But by God, she was going to get him. And that's all she talked about. And it went on for as long as I was there, which was about 4 years. Well, I went back for the reunion, and many of the women were there, and they all looked so beautiful and been very successful, and they'd gotten over it, and we all laughed about our little encounters with unpleasant relationships. And then they opened these doors, and this man comes in. At first I thought he was like a security guard, and he's pushing someone on a gurney. And I thought, oh my gosh. And so this woman comes in, and she's on oxygen. She has like running sores all over her body. She is so bloated that the skin is cracking on her feet and her hands. And she comes in, and then we recognized her. And she told her story. And as we listened, it was as if it happened yesterday. It happened 25 years ago. She had carried this with her. I'm not trying to judge her or point fingers at her, but I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that she simply could not let go. She wanted to tell that story, live that story, and that story turned on her in a very sad way. But people there said, oh, press on. And she says, not on your life. My last dying breath will be trying to get the two of them. And I'm afraid that might be true. We are magnetic energy fields, always attracting and always creating when we are in that feeling world. And it's important that we know this. It's important that we are able to recognize that we wish to forgive, and that's it. Forgive, give freely, generously, not expecting compensation, and release this. It will make our lives better and the lives of all of those around us. Because when we are in the state of non-forgiveness, we are more apt to heal. There is one common theme that goes through people that don't forgive, and it's so interesting. They are by and large negative people. Oh, I'm not saying they're bad. We all have friends like that, and I'm afraid I'm in that group sometimes myself. But what they do is they call, well, another murder. A lot of people are dead. Government, no one's going to have health care. Do you see the news? Another flood. Well, what happens is that is spreading this negative energy, which comes back. People want to forgive. We may hear bad news, but we don't have to embody it. So our prayer here, and my prayer for all of you, all of us together, is that we can take that moment 2 or 3 times a day. We don't have to be sitting down in a meditative mode. We can do it when we're driving or any other thing where we have a moment to be by ourselves, and we say, picture the person, bless them, or the situation, or the incident, and say, I fully and freely forgive you. I release you, and I let you go. I think this will be a big start in changing our own atmosphere, the atmosphere around us, to be an atmosphere of holiness. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Jane. A lot of work involved there. Well, here we are, close to the break. I want to talk to you about one thing, the Forgiveness Fund. Forgiveness is such a nebulous thing. You know, Worldwide Forgiveness Alliance. What do you guys do? Well, we feel good about what we do, and we bring joy to some people, and we work at it very hard. But the rewards we get from it don't pay the rent. We don't sell cars, we don't write software, we don't develop iPhones. We spread forgiveness, which is kind of hard to quantify. But we tried to do that for you. So what we've done is I'll ask you to take the program and turn to the page right after the program, and there lists the Forgiveness Fund. Giving forgiveness, an instrument for peace. What do? We promote the healing power of forgiveness. We introduce forgiveness as a life tool, provide scholarships for forgiveness education and training, train teachers and practitioners of forgiveness, honor heroes and champions, celebrate International Forgiveness Day, tell stories of forgiveness through all media, inspire, encourage, and support new forgiveness initiatives, support the Worldwide Forgiveness Alliance, and practice forgiveness daily. Now, we can't take that down to the corner store and sell it. What we have to do is ask people for help. Ask people to share their prosperity, knowing that God is our source and you are the channel. And we ask you to be a channel for us to continue our work with the veterans who are coming back with post-traumatic stress syndrome, to help us with the abused women over at the Marin Center for Women, and all the other work that is being done around the Bay Area and in behalf of forgiveness. So there are people moving among you with baskets, and we ask you to share with us so that we may continue the work of forgiveness here in the Bay Area and around the world. As you know, we're working with the UN and with the US Congress, and we need your help. So if you would, please share. The next segment of our evening is to do something that we probably should have done a long time ago. For the past 17 years, Bob has been very instrumental in making sure that people were honored for their forgiveness work as champions and teachers, and for the courage and effort that it took to overcome the incredible pain of loss that people have shown in forgiving those who have hurt them. So after 17 years, we decided, hey, what about Bob? And so that's what we're going to do tonight for his Lifetime Achievement of Forgiveness. Let's talk about Bob and show a video, if you will.
Attorney Bob Plath started the first Forgiveness Day in 1996 with a group of about 20 people.
Finally, I came to the concept that forgiveness was the key to happiness, and that a Forgiveness Day around the world where everybody could celebrate and forgive all aspects of everything, that would bring the greatest safety, sanity, and wisdom to the planet. Today we're in 15 countries, and countries, some of them that are very violent, like Nigeria, Mexico, People's Republic of China, or in Palestine and Israel. So we are also in 20 different cities, and it is growing. So I'm very, I feel elated about that, and the work has really just begun.
Over the years, we have honored heroes who have forgiven what seems unforgivable.
Please accept our forgiveness and forgive yourself.
The atomic bomb, Thomas Tanimori, who lost his whole family in Hiroshima. The cruelty of racism, Melba Beals, who as a child helped integrate the schools in Little Rock, Arkansas. Healing between nations like Chief Arvil Looking Horse. or between factions that have been fighting for years. Healing gang violence for inner city youth. We honor champions of forgiveness, those who have preached or worked for forgiveness in the world. Bob launched International Forgiveness Day when he was 70 years old. This year, after 17 years of superhuman effort in which he has convinced the Pope to endorse Forgiveness Day from the Vatican, received recognition by the United States Congress, and brought the concept before the United Nations. For this, we honor Bob tonight with a Lifetime Champion of Forgiveness Award.
So to honor Bob and to share with us, we have asked some of the alumni champions to. Well, you're going to get to talk.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you for that burst of applause. It felt so good-hearted. I just want to quickly say thank you. Woo!
So can we have the alumni please come on stage to share with us? We're with John Gray, Dr. Luskin, Jerry Jampolsky. Oh, here they come.
I am so happy to be here, and thank you all for coming to celebrate Forgiveness Day. I was thinking just today, and I wasn't thinking about tonight, but I thought, you know, my next book I want to write is going to be called World Peace Begins at Home, Make Love Not War. And I so much appreciated previous comments, everyday forgiveness. I truly feel that it's so easy to put the demons out there instead of looking within ourselves. We started out with an invocation that we are one mind. As spiritual beings, and you are all such amazing spiritual beings, to be committed to forgiveness. That we are tested more than anyone. And that as we find forgiveness in our ordinary lives, truly, we create a ripple effect that makes it easier for others who don't have the education or the support or the love in their lives to find forgiveness. I remember in the beginning with Bob, we taught a training at San Quentin to help the prisoners. And there was a man I brought up front of the room called Healing the Heart Seminar. And I said, how long are you here? He's here for 30 years. Do you have a family? Yes. How many children do you have? 13. How do you feel being in here? There's nothing I can feel. What's there to feel? I said, but how do you feel about it when you think about your children not seeing their father? I feel nothing. So I asked him to close his eyes and imagine his children standing in front of him. And I'm going to be one of your children. Daddy, Daddy, we miss you. Come home. And that's all it took, and his body began to shake. And he fainted into my arms, all 300 pounds of him, and we fell into a chair. And by the time we hit the chair, all 30 prisoners had already risen and were walking out of the room. That's how unable they were to feel the pain of what they had done in their lives. That's how unable they were to feel pain in their heart because they've never received love in their lives. We're the fortunate ones who have the love and support to allow us to feel the pain, which was so beautifully shared by our two heroes tonight. As you feel the pain of your remorse, and you feel your pain and shared it with him with love, which healed him. We have a buffer that allows us to feel pain. It takes love to heal pain. And when people don't have love, they can't feel that pain. It's too painful. They can't believe that forgiveness is possible. This is such an important commitment that we make. Not only to spread the message of forgiveness around the world and all the different tools and different approaches to find forgiveness. As I'm feeling behind me, Jerry Brampolsky and Diane, who have just traveled around the world teaching people to open their hearts, to change their attitude. It's a choice. It's a science. It's a technology. We have to bring this to the world. And it's only those who can find forgiveness first in their hearts that can lead. And I thank you all for being here tonight. And I thank you for letting me be one of the forgiveness challenges, or champions. Challenge forgiveness. And just briefly, a story of forgiveness, because behind every great forgiveness is transformation beyond our dreams. Very briefly, I received the award when my father was found dead in the trunk of his car. On our honeymoon with my wife Bonnie, who's here, I was filled with rage. She'd never seen my eyes turn red. And I went home to Texas to see what had happened. He was found dead in the trunk of his car. I had to get into the trunk. And as I got into the trunk, I saw where he had used a screwdriver to try to get out. He had been robbed by a hitchhiker, left there. The hitchhiker had called the police, and the police did not respond. He called again, and the police did not respond. He said, "There's some suspicious car on the highway. My dad died of heat stroke. If they'd come, he'd be alive today." He called again, and they didn't return. My challenge was with the police, not just the person who did this. But that's when I committed myself to go to San Quentin and start healing. I needed to know why. Why? What's behind this? And I was able to find that. And that day in the trunk, I got to experience what my dad felt, his pain and his fear. And I reached out my hand where he unscrewed the back light. I reached out my arm, and my family was all on the outside. The trunk door was closed. And as I'm pulling my arm back, my brother on the outside of the trunk said to me, "John, see if you can reach your arm around and push the button." I reached my arm around and pushed the button, and the lid opened. Another tragedy. The tragedy that we all suffer in our lives as we live in our boxes, trying to get out. And when you're in a box trying to get out, you don't think about how to get in. We don't see the other point of view. We don't see the other side of things. And it was that day that I committed myself to helping men understand a different way of thinking, which is women, and helping women understand a different way of thinking, which is men. And created an understanding not based on criticism and blame or trying to change someone, but unconditional love, an understanding and insight that helps us to find forgiveness. And again, we need that understanding and that insight. And very quickly, another moment in my life when my brother committed suicide, my little brother. Then I had to forgive myself. And once again, forgiveness saved my life. Because in forgiving him later on in my life, there was a choice when men-women relationship was going to be purchased by major publishers. And I was so excited a big publisher was going to buy it, but a little distributor right here in Berkeley was distributing the book, and they said, "Can't we keep the book?" And that day, I felt the presence of my little brother Jimmy right there. Somebody had helped me, and had I helped them. So I said, "No, you can keep the book." And my wife said to me, "What are you going to do? You just finished that book. This is your dream to have a New York publisher." And in that moment of forgiveness of myself and my commitment that I learned to help those who helped me, I said, "I'll write another book." And the birth of an amazing book was created in that moment of forgiveness. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, which has changed my lives and the lives of millions. It all comes from finding forgiveness and forgiving ourselves. And Bob Plath is an angel who has helped all of us. And I thank you very much, Bob.
Hello, everyone. I was here last year. I just wanted to say that it's an honor to know you, Bob, and you're a treasure on earth, and if there's anything any one of you can do to help and support what he's doing, please do that. Thank you.
Good evening to you. This is Takashi Tanamori. I am a survivor of Hiroshima, and I'd like to just let you know when President Truman decided to drop the bomb to bring the war to the end, and also he was purposed by using the bomb to establish the permanent peace. I was 8 years old. That morning, fatal morning, on August 6th, I lost 6 members of my family, including both my parents. From 8 years old, although the world hoped for the peace and the war ended on August 15, 1945, but my war only began. For the next 40 long years of my life, the war against the Americans, revenging on the Americans, just started when I was 8 years old. But on August 1st, 1985, finally I found the way to find the peace by learning to forgive. It was 40 long years of my struggles. And the night of the August 15, my father's spirit appeared to me, and he said, my son, you have found the greatest ways to avenge your enemy by learning to forgive. I said, Daddy, I was only 8 years old. I promise you that I will avenge your death by coming to America, which I did when I was 18 years old. But there I said, my daddy. Again he said, my son, Takashi, you have found the greatest ways to avenge your enemy by learning to forgive. Finally, at that night, I came home, place called peace, through learning to forgive. And Bob Plus, thank you so much for these 15 years since I have known you. You are truly a champion of the forgiveness. Thank you so much. Great.
Here's Gerald Jampowski and Diane Shirashoni.
Sir, we're having a reunion.
Casserone. Thank you, sir.
Yes, we have to keep going. Okay, Jerry. We're having a little reunion here.
Oh, Jerry, Diane, wow.
I would like to use my time to have a private conversation with Bob. And you guys can eavesdrop if you like. Bob, you and I don't remember, I'm 88, 1 year older than you, but I don't remember what I had for dinner last night, but I do remember you and I met around 1975, 1976. And neither of us had gray hair in those days. And I've really been an admirer of you all the time that I've known you, because you're so different than so many of us that get on the stage. You're very quiet, you have a soft voice, you have a commitment, that's unchangeable. You never give up. Every year you have the Forgiveness Day. You're really not sure what's going to happen or if there's going to be any money in there. And you always are committed in knowing that somehow, with your faith in God, it's going to work. And it's been an amazing journey. And I just want to say, you don't have to have a loud voice to accomplish a lot about forgiveness and love in this world. And you demonstrate that, my friend. And I want to say how much we love you. And I know everyone's here to honor you. God bless you.
Well, thank you, Jerry.
Hi, everyone. I'm Diane Cirenzioni-Jampolsky. Bob, I think you know somewhere in the back of your mind that right now in Hawaii, in Honolulu at the state capitol and at Iolani Palace, their Hawaii Forgiveness Day is celebrated. And Jerry and I, 10 years ago, had a small part in helping that happen. And it was because of your inspiration for International Forgiveness Day that we were able to join partners with people in the beautiful Hawaiian community and create that day. And the reasons we're not here usually is that we're usually in Hawaii on this same day. So you have many kindred spirits and souls doing the same work everywhere.
Thank
you. Yeah. You know, Jerry and I did a workshop once, actually was up here in San Rafael, and a woman said, we were talking about definitions of forgiveness, and she said her definition of forgiveness was giving up all hopes for a better past. Takes a minute to sink in, doesn't it? Forgiveness is giving up all hopes for a better past. And Jerry and I try and practice forgiveness every day. We've been together 34 years, so we get lots of practice because we're married. And you can't be married and not use forgiveness if you're going to have a successful marriage. And in trying to help us remember, Jerry came up with this idea years ago, and we made a little shoe insert, which we've given out, hundreds of thousands of them. And it's inside, and it says, may every step you take be one of forgiveness. And it's for healing your soul. Congratulations, Bob. We love you so much.
So Bob is one of my heroes.
Dr. Fred Luskin from Stanford.
Thank you.
Project.
Yeah. Bob is actually one of my heroes. I remember when I started the Forgiveness Project, this was 17 or so years ago, and nobody was interested and couldn't get arrested teaching forgiveness. And there were only a handful of people that I could talk to about that, about what it's like to be promoting something that's not wanted in a certain way. And that didn't stop me, and I can't tell you how many conversations I had with Bob on the phone where I got real inspiration from him for persevering and for continuing to do something I knew was right. And I will count on, I can count just a very small number of people, Jerry Jampolsky, another one, that long before I was interviewed, thousands of times, and forgiveness is in the New York Times and on Oprah and stuff like that, there were just some people trying to tell other people to be kinder. And Bob was one of them. Before there was an audience for it, before there was before it was culturally, acceptable. And that takes vision, and it takes courage, and it takes a certain passion. And as this work has gone on, and I've seen Bob persevere in it, and I see him age, and I see him continue to promote something so important, I continue to respect and appreciate what he does. And from my point of view, I think each of us will be called into some account as to whether our lives made some kind of difference here. And, you know, I think this is a moment where we're honoring Bob and saying your life made a difference. You know? That, you know, it made a difference to me, but and we're all going to disappear, and there'll be new people, and, you know, our individual stories won't matter, but, you know, there'll be some reminder of goodness. And I think this is a recognition of Bob's goodness, and I'm just grateful to be here and be part of it. So thank you very much. And Bob, my friend, you're a worldwide lifetime champion of forgiveness. So God bless. You're very welcome, my friend. You're very welcome. God bless. I just say thank you.
You might want a picture of
There are some other heroes of forgiveness out there too, Steve Bachman and Chris Lucas, and that have not that we were discriminating against them in any way. It's just that we have a time constraint too, because we have a wonderful band coming up, Narda Michael Walden, and I want to turn it over so that we can hear their fantastic music. I am saturated with your sweetness and your love. I could just be it's so hard to let that all in. It just is. Because in my lifetime, I had a hard heart that from my experiences, which was really silly, but I am working on it to this day to come back to true love and closure and sweetness and holding, touching, which are basic things to all human beings and which are necessary to life. So thank you for everything. I really appreciate it. I just don't know how to say more often than I appreciate, and thank you, because we want to get on with the show, which is very beautiful and vital. So please stick it out. With the respect to Misty Wallace and Keith Farnborn, we will give their plaques out shortly at the break, at the end of the program, if you don't mind, so we can carry on the program. It's not a insult to them at all. I revere what they've done, and they're so fantastic people. Just wonderful to just talk to them. So they'll be here for you to do that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, because I'm overwhelmed.
Bob,
Thank you.
Bob, there's one more person who wants to wish you well tonight. If we could just run that video, please.
Hi, I'm Marianne Williamson, and I'm glad to add my voice to the chorus of celebration of the life and work of Robert Plath. I've known Robert for quite a few years, and from the beginning, we got to have a Forgiveness Day. We've got to have a Forgiveness Day. And we all heard it year after year. Yeah, Bob, you're right. We ought to have a Forgiveness Day. Everybody, we all got how important forgiveness was, but this idea of a Forgiveness Day, well, Bob was right, and it has grown in importance, it has grown in meaning and significance. I myself have had some serious forgiveness that's come to me, and that has been a space created for in my own life because of Forgiveness Day, and I know others have as well. So thank you, Bob, for all that you've done for all of us, and I know I speak for how many thousands of people in saying how much I love you. God bless you, Bob.
Take a picture and then the show will go on.
Is this the award?
And the award is
the award.
And thanks for bearing with us. I appreciate that very much. Woo!
Where's the camera? Oh, put this down.
Well, hello. This has been an amazing evening. We are so blessed to have all been here. 17 years Bob has carried this for us. Now it's our turn. We are the Forgiveness Alliance, all of us here. We have allies all over the world. Allies in England, Czechoslovakia, Georgia, and we have allies growing every day. We have Summer of Peace, we have Unify, and with that, forgiveness is becoming a movement. And as a movement, that's exactly what we need. The world needs forgiveness. And we get to commit to do it. And we get to be the Forgiveness Alliance. On that note, we have a group who has just allied with us. They are called Unify, and they have a marvelous message of forgiveness. Could we run it, please?
My name's Jonathan Heumann. When I was in my late teens, I was troubled by a sense that most people seem to be hypnotized. Their thoughts, opinions, preferences conditioned by social conventions. I wanted to break away from that limited conceptual thinking. I wanted to see for myself, to experience for myself what reality really is. As I traveled from Alaska to Peru, the experiences along the way changed how I looked at and perceived the world. I noticed people like to identify with being different from each other. Yet as I traveled, I noticed how similar we all are. Our tribes, our clans, our races, our ethnicities, our cultures, our languages, the diversity of our one humanity. Everywhere I went, people opened their doors, hearts, and arms to me and exhibited the universally recognizable good behavior of the golden rule inherent to being human. I realized we are all so individual and unique, and yet at the same time, we're all the same. For me, a human being is a vessel for consciousness, and consciousness is the big elephant in the room that no one seems to talk about. I've come to realize that being human is my religion. I changed my name to Human. Our opportunity at this moment in the evolution of our species is to recognize our shared humanity. At no other point has our interconnectivity been so clear for us. We can now see and hear each other instantaneously via the social networks and internet all around the planet and make adjustments. Forgiveness. Forgiveness of our enemies and families. Forgiveness of our parents and ancestors. Forgiveness of ourselves. Forgiveness is an inherent virtue of being human, a prerequisite for a healthy human society, and a central component to every religion. To forgive is to liberate oneself from the bondage of blame and recrimination. When we forgive, the trauma heals. Forgiveness transmutes poison into medicine. We lament the wars and conflicts across the globe, yet what about the battles in our own lives, the battles inside each of us? I invite you to take a single step towards creating a kinder humanity by forgiving one person in your life. And I want to hear your story. Send it in. The power of forgiveness can unite us all.
So we're very, very pleased to be allying with Unify and the Forgiveness Project and Findhorn, the Great Undoing, and the Charter for Compassion, and we are becoming global. We are already somewhat global, but now we're going mega on the internet. So that's our plan. So please join us and join, do your Forgive One, pledge to commit to forgiveness, because we are the Forgiveness Alliance, okay? Thank you. I want to introduce now one of our programs. I'd like to introduce Krista Reynolds, who is going to tell you about a program that we're starting this year, along with, I forgot to mention, we will be running forgiveness workshops and starting forgiveness circles. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacinta. Bob. Our voices, they're an asset and they're very powerful. And we they're powerful in ways that we don't know sometimes. And we've all got something to say, and we often don't know how to say it or when to say it. And we realize that opportunities pass us by. So in thinking about how I could contribute to the Alliance, I really saw that after hearing all the speakers tonight and all the speakers I've heard in the world and the impact they have made on so many people, I felt it was time for our organization to start inspiring people to speak and to speak about forgiveness or anything that inspires them that can create change on the planet. So I'm really excited. Fred Luskin, who is just up here, is going to join us for a day long, along with Peter Myers, who's with Stand and Deliver. Peter has a wonderful history of working with many different professionals and executives in the world, all over the world, as well as political figures. And he's really busy, and so he's really made a special effort to make himself available for this day. So it'll be myself supporting you. I'm a yoga teacher. I'll be supporting you getting into your bodies and really embodying who you are as a person. Fred will be talking about forgiveness and how you can really tell your message if that's the story you want to tell. And then we'll move into the afternoon with Peter, and Peter's going to give you life skills to really allow yourself to be inspired as you speak so that people can really hear what you have to say. And as you saw tonight, it's powerful. It's really powerful to hear because we need our stories. We need other people's stories because it's a reminder of what's going on inside of us and how we can heal. So we're excited to do this workshop. It's on October 26th. We have flyers outside. We have a place where you can sign up, and please give us your email. We have stickers out there. Please take them, plaster them everywhere. They're about forgiveness. They're a reminder that forgiveness is an everyday process. And anyhow, I'm really excited to be a part of this. I hope I'll see some of you there because I'd really like to hear your voice and who you are. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Krista.
Thank you for your patience. Now our pleasure to introduce to you someone I've loved their music for a long time, Narada Michael Walden Band.
Hello. Just wanted to tell you that we're very happy to be here. I got a phone call from my old friend Bob and said, come down and play music for Forgiveness Day. And I've been wanting to do this for a long time. So this is our first time actually playing on this great occasion for you and in this hallowed hall. And I'm very happy that I can say some of my best friends here have come to play with us. And I want you to welcome them with a lot of love. On sax is Ray Clement. And Jimmy Dillon on guitar. Audie DeLone on keyboards. On percussion, James Henry in the back. Our great bassist is Angeline Saris. We call her Angel Funk. Yeah. And on the backgrounds is Caroline, Audie's daughter, and Nico, and Dylan Thomas. Dylan Chambers, Dylan Thomas. And very big round of applause for a great, great man who's going to open our show tonight. He has changed the world of music with his sound and stopped time with his great voice and song about time. Please welcome Lester Chambers from the Chambers Brothers. Lester, please come.
Thank you so much, Mr. Walden, and all you beautiful people that are here. Today is World Forgiveness Day, and we'd like to know, do you really have the heart and the spirit to forgive and to continue to love? Curtis Mayfield wrote one of the greatest songs ever written in his late life. People get ready.
1, 2.
There's a train to come. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith. You can hear the Jesus coming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. And everybody sing. The train to Jordan is picking up passengers from coast to coast, and faith is the key. You open the doors and borders, 'cause there's room for all on the love. We all say again, everybody say, come on. Listen to me. There ain't no room for the hopeless sinner who would hurt all mankind to save his own. And have pity on those whose chances grow thinner, 'cause there's no hiding place in the kingdom's throne. We all say, help me somebody. Get ready for the train to Jordan. It's picking up passengers from coast to coast, and faith is the key. Open doors and borders, 'cause there's room for all. Among the Lord, people get ready. People get ready. There's a change coming. go their way. Can't put it up another day. All they say we don't listen anyway. I've been love put aside, crushed by tumbling tide. Time has come today. Time has come today. Hey! Oh yeah! Get on up and dance! The rules have changed today. Hey! I have no place to stay. Hey! I'm thinking about the subway. Hey! The love has flown away. Hey! My tears have come and gone. Hey! Oh my Lord, I have to roam. Hey! 'Cause I have no home. Hey! I have no home. Hey! Now the time has come. Hey! There are things to realize. Hey! Time has come today. Hey! Time has come today. Oh! The rules have changed today. Time have no place to stay. Time. I'm thinking about the subway. Time. The love has flown away. Time. My tears have come and gone. Time. Oh my Lord, I have to roam. Time. 'Cause I have no home. Time. I have no home. Time has come. Time. There are things to realize. Time has come today. Time has come today. Everybody say, time! Time! Time has come today! Hey! Time! 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 Today, young hearts to go our way. Can't put it off another day. They say we don't listen anyway. I've been love put aside, crushed by tumbling tide. My soul been stifled. Time has come. Things to realize. Time has come today. Time has come today.
We're very happy to be here. Is Bob here? Where is he? Can you stand up? Can you get up here? Can you get up here with us? Can you? Come on, man. It ain't over yet. Come on now. My whole band here? Come on. Round of applause for Bob, who brought us all together, huh? Hey. All right.
I want to say thanks to Martin Narda. He's done a fantastic job. His band is absolutely incredibly valuable, wonderful music. And he's done that part mainly to help us out, which has been incredibly valuable to us too. He's a wonderful man. He's got a big heart, as big as he is, and he spreads it all over because he's got the power to do it. Woo for him.
And woo for you. And woo for you too. Yeah. God bless you. It's been a great, great time, and we'll see you next year. Is that right?
Yeah, it sounds great. Dear higher power, bear with us and lead us into all sorts of beautiful, lovely life. Thank you very much, every one of you people. You've been stuck it out right to the end. But look at it. What a gift this man is and his band. What a gift. Thank you very much.
All right, love you, love you. God bless you. Everybody, we love you. All right.